All right, we're going to look at two terms that talk about the same thing. Sound intensity and sound intensity level. Okay? Sound intensity is how that energy is spread out from a source. So we're going to use an omnidirectional source. That means it's spread out in all directions equally. And as it spreads out over a spherical area. And so we're going to use the area or the surface area of a sphere, which is 4 pi r squared. So we're going to take that energy and we're going to divide it by that area. And we're going to use power here because that speaker is going to be producing that sound continuously. The minimum intensity you can hear is 10 to the negative 12th watts per square meter. Hearing damage occurs all the way up from there at 10 to the negative 4th watts per square meter. So there's a huge range of intensities. That's 8 orders of magnitude larger that you can hear. So what we want to do is we want to bring that into a range that's a little more acceptable for people to use. So the sound intensity level uses this equation which brings in that log. Okay, so it takes a big range and it shrinks it down. And so our range starts at 0, which is the threshold, 0 decibels. 50 decibels would be like a conversation. 80 decibels, that's your lawnmower, and that's where hearing damage occurs. So you'll want hearing protection. And if you were using a jackhammer, it'd be all the way up to 110. Now, each time you go up by 10 decibels, that's 10 times more intense. So if I went up by 20 decibels, that would be 100 times. Or if I went up by 30 times, that'd be 1,000. So on my way from a normal conversation to a lawnmower is 1,000 times greater than a normal conversation. And a jackhammer is 1,000 times more intense than a lawnmower. So let's go ahead and do a problem and see how this works out. So the example here is I have a speaker pumping out 8 watts of power, and it's omnidirectional, so I can use this equation. And I want to know how far should I stand away before I'm at that 80 decibel, that start of hearing damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of get this 80 decibels into an intensity, and I'm going to use the intensity and the power to find my R value. So that's what I want to do. I want to start with my 80 decibels and get an intensity. So I have 80 equals 10 log of I divided by I naught. Divide the 10 over, so now I have 8 is equal to the log of I divided by I naught. To get rid of a log, I'm going to raise this to a power. So this will become 10 to the 8th is equal to I divided by I naught. Multiply the I naught over, so I have 10 to the negative 12th times 10 to the 8th equals I. So this now becomes 10 to the negative 4th for an intensity, which was my hearing damage point. So now I'm going to plug that in here. So now I have 10 to the negative 4th equals my power, which was 8 watts, divided by 4 pi r squared. Solve for r, so now I have r is equal to the square root of 8 divided by 4 pi times 10 to the negative 4th. And so we find out that if there's an 8 watt speaker, I need to stand 80 meters away to get down to that 80 decibels.